Bonjour. Welcome to Wahsa Distance Education Center's radio Zoom classes. This is MEL3E, grade 11 workplace math, and I'm the teacher, Bronwyn Slate. If you'd like to participate live today, you can call the Wahsa studio at 1-800-465-7144 or 737-4017. You can listen on the radio at 91.9 FM and also on the television at Bell Express View Channel 972. You are always welcome to join me live through the Zoom link, which is available both from me, your teacher, and also your DEC. Our classes are scheduled from Monday through Thursday, 9 until 10 in the morning, and we are in our 6th week of our 9-week course. At this point, you definitely should know what work to be submitting, and you should be submitting work, but a reminder that the support questions, the ones with a little pencil icon, are practice problems. So these are not for marking. You can decide which ones and how many to do. If you're understanding a concept, it's totally okay to skip questions, do what makes the most sense for you. You know yourself best. But also, if you need more practice, it's okay to ask, and I'm happy to send you more practice. The key questions, however, the ones with the little key icon, are the ones to submit for marking. So these questions, you need to do all of them. I'm marking them all. If you don't do them all, then I can't give you all the marks. So here you need to show all of your work, your steps, and your thinking so that I can understand what it is that you understand. And if you're struggling with something, it gives me more information so I can support you. So how do you actually submit your work for marking? Well, there's 3 methods. The first is to scan and send your work electronically. If you have a device, you can use that device to scan your work. So Apple devices have a Notes app that has a scan function, and Android devices have a Google Drive app that has a scan function. It's fairly straightforward, pretty much just like taking a picture, point and click. But if you need some support, I have tech tutorials on my YouTube channel that will walk you through step by step how to actually scan using your device. So check that out. If you need more support, let me know. I'm happy to walk you through it. So then once you have it scanned, you can send it to me either through email to studentwork@nnec.on.ca and CC it to bronwyn.slate@nnec.on.ca, or you can also send it to me through Facebook Messenger, where my name is B. Slate Wahsa. The second method is to drop your work off into Lookout. We have an outdoor mailbox at our 74 Front Street location. We're the bright red building next to the post office and have a small white mailbox next to our side entrance. Just stick your work in there at any time and I'll get it back to you as soon as I can. The third method is to hand your work into your DEC. Your DEC can either send your work through the Express or fax it to 807-737-1732 or toll-free fax to 1-800-463-7852. Students can also fax in their work if that's something that works best for you. Just give us a heads up that it's coming so that we can be prepared for it, because sometimes things get lost in the shuffle. If you want to connect with me through social media, both my Facebook and my YouTube channel are under the name B. Slate Wahsa. All of our radio Zoom classes are recorded, and then I upload them shortly after broadcasting to YouTube, and I share them on Facebook. So it's a really easy way to find all of our previous lessons as well as our most recent one and go over things as you need it. Also, there's other videos on my channel that explain common errors and confusing concepts, things that you might struggle with that are not actually in our course. So it's a good place to go and look for help before doing a general internet search. Math is a really visual subject, so I strongly encourage you to access the videos. This is going to set you up for the most success. If you can't join me live through the Zoom link, or you can't watch the YouTube channel for some reason, if that doesn't work for you, then just let me know and I'm happy to send you a copy of the recordings so that you still get the full experience and really set yourself up for success. All right, if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out and connect with me. It's what I'm here for, here to support you however I can. You can send me an email at bronwyn.slate@nnec.on.ca. You can connect with me through Facebook, where my name is B. Slate Wahsa. Give me a call at the office at 807-737-1488, extension 2209, or toll free 1-800-667-3703. My office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Though I can connect with you outside those hours if for some reason that doesn't work for you, just let me know and we can try to figure out something that works for both of us. Today we are looking at lesson 14, which is new and used vehicles. So our learning goals are that at the end of this lesson, you'll be able to interpret information about the cost of purchasing a new or used vehicle. You'll be able to describe the conditions that favor buying new and used vehicles, and you'll understand depreciation values. You know you've met the learning goals because you can list and calculate the costs associated with new and used vehicles, and you can calculate how much a new vehicle depreciates. So when will you use this in real life? Well, we are improving our problem-solving skills. This is something that is vital in life. Problems will arise no matter what you do in life, and being able to think critically and attack a problem, figure it out, is really, really important in order to basically survive. So though you might not necessarily be using the direct mathematical skills that we're talking about, the practicing the problem solving is a skill that you will be using that you can transfer to any place in your life. But first, before we dive in, let's do some mental math and activate your brain. I don't believe in mad math minutes. They cause stress and anxiety in more students than not. And so we don't do them. Instead, we work on developing strategies that use our brain to think, using comfortable numbers, friendly numbers for ourselves, using strategies that make the most sense for us individually, and we figure it out from there. So really, it's about that personal experience about what makes the most sense. All right, so today's question is 54 times 12, and we're using the strategy of breaking factors into smaller factors. So remember, factors are the numbers that multiply to get the answer. So we're just going to break these. These are not super friendly numbers. So we're going to break these into numbers that might be more friendly, and then we can rearrange them and multiply them in ways that are more friendly. So 54, to me, what I think of, well, I know that 6 times 9 is 54. Okay, so see if that. And then from there, I know that 6 is 3 times 2. And 9 is 3 times 3. Okay, so see if that can help me in any way. 12, I know, is 4 times 3. So 4 is 2 times 2. And then 3 is just 3 times 1. So it's just 3. So 54 times 12 is the same as 3 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 2 times 2 times 3. So then we got to look to see if there's any way that we can get anything that is friendlier than the order that we have right now. So I'm going to say, well, 3 times 3, I know is 9. And then I have another 3 times 3, so that's another 9. And I know my 9 times table, so that's 81. And then I have 2 times 2 times 2, which I know is 8. So 81 times 8 is a little bit friendlier than 54 times 12, for me at least, because 8 times 8 I know is 64. So 8 times 80 is going to be 640. And then 8 times 1 is 8. So in total, that's going to be 648. Now you could have done these, you could have rearranged these in different ways, and that would have been totally fine. Really, you just figure out what makes the most sense for you so that you can collect your numbers in ways that are friendly for you. All right, mine's on. What information do we need to know today before we dive into our new ideas? I just wanted to go over some vehicle listings just to make sure that you can sort of understand if you're looking at buying a vehicle, picking up the information that's there. So this is, I grabbed this off the Madsen website in Sioux Lookout, or Madsen's in Sioux Lookout, their website. So it's a 2022, so this is a new vehicle. And you can see that here it tells you how much money if you were to pay with it cash outright, how much money it would cost you. So $39,120. And then they break it down into the different parts. So the MSRP, which is the suggested retail price, $38,523. And then the various fees and taxes based on that are just common taxes, and then administration fees of them doing all of the paperwork and such. Then they show you the financing if you were to finance it and to buy it outright, but pay for it in biweekly payments, then it would be $247 biweekly every 2 weeks. If you were to lease it, then it would be $235. But remember, leasing means that you don't end up owning the vehicle at the end. So just being able to sort of look at this and get some information can be really useful. There is more details. If you were online, you could then actually click on these and it would break it up into a little bit more details, and you can maybe find some more information, but looking into these things is really important if you're buying a vehicle. Also, here is a used ad. So this is from, also I got it online, but it's from the Dingwall in Dryden. So it was a 2019 Jeep Cherokee Limited, and it tells you it's pre-owned, so you know that this is a used vehicle. It tells you the color, the engine, the kilometers, and then it tells you the price, $40,985. Again, you can click, if you were on the actual website, you could click and get more details. You could talk about financing, if you had a trade-in value, things like that. So you can get some information again online. They give you different information. So it's sort of important to do your research and figure out what it is that you need to know. If you do this research before actually dealing with a dealership, then you have yourself set up with some questions and some information that you already know. That's really beneficial. Okay, so what new concepts are we looking at? First, we're going to look at new cars. This is on page 30 of your IL booklet. So new cars have numerous costs in addition to the sticker or the base price. So some extra costs, like we saw in that ad, are delivery, pre-delivery expenses, administration fee, freight, pre-delivery inspection, dealer preparation. So all of these things that you might have to pay for that you don't realize. There's also a fuel consumption tax for all new cars. If the car has air conditioning, then there's a $100 federal tax for dealing with the air conditioner when it is, when the vehicle is no longer functioning. There's a fuel charge because they have to put some gas in it in order for once you purchase the vehicle and you drive off the lot, you need to actually have some gas, so they charge you for that. This gas is not taxed because gas is, the tax is already within, which we've looked at before. There's a license plate. If they install your license plates, if you don't have them to do that, then they won't charge you to do it. But sometimes it's just convenient to let them just do it all. Again, this one's not taxed. So if we're looking at if we just have a purchase price of for an example, we have a Ford 150. So we're just given a bunch of information. Then to figure out how much we're actually going to pay is going to be different than just the price. So they're on the truck. Like if you look on the truck, it's going to have a sticker price. It's going to say that it's $54,675. That's the price of this vehicle. But you're going to end up having to actually pay more than that based on all of the other types of charges. So for our purposes, I'm going to list them in some way in our question so that we know which charges we're being taxed, or sorry, being charged, which fees are being charged. They do need to tell you in your contract, in your deal review, and something that they show you that if you're buying from a dealership, that shows you all the different things that you're paying. But sometimes that can be daunting. So just a heads up. So here we have $54,675 for a base price. So that's your sticker price. Then we have a $1,500 delivery charge, a $100 federal air conditioning tax, a $75 fuel tax. And then here we have, it says HST. So in these questions in your booklet, how it is that everything that is above the HST, where it's written in the list, all of these, you need to do HST on all of these things. So you can do it on them individually, or you can do it all at once, but HST has to be on those things. Then below, it says there's a $40 licensing fee and a $75 fuel fee. And so this is below the HST, so there's no HST on these things. So that's just important to realize, is that you don't have to, when it says HST, you're doing that on all of the things that are listed above. So how we do that is that, so you're going to add, just like we've always been doing. So we're going to add our amounts together. So 54,675 plus 1,500 plus 100 plus 75. And all of that, we're going to times by 0.13 to do our calculator tax. Or we could also, we'll just do it that way for starters. So we're calculating the HST. So using our calculator. So we add those up together first. And then we're going to times that answer by 0.13, and we get $7,325.50. So then our total is going to be the total of all of the amount that we just added up together. So that was 56,350. That's what we did our tax on, right? So we have to add all those things up. I'm just not writing them out again. Plus our tax, which is $7,325.50, plus our $40 licensing fee, plus our $75 fuel fee. So then we add those up. And we actually will be paying $72,790.50. So even though the sticker price on the vehicle is going to say that it's $54,675, really, with all of the fees and the taxes included, you're paying $72,790.50. So that is the full purchase price. So just something to be aware of. It's almost 20 grand more than that sticker price with all of the other things, which if you're not prepared for that, it's a pretty big surprise. Most likely, if you're financing, if you're going to be getting a loan through the dealership and they are going to tell you your bi-week payments or whatever, they're not even going to tell you this big number. They're just going to then calculate your payments and then tell you the smaller number. That's how much you pay every 2 weeks. Because otherwise it's pretty daunting to realize how much money you're actually spending, which maybe isn't what you were expecting. So being informed is really important. So now you can do the IL questions, the support questions on IL page 31, questions 1 through 3, which is just calculating the costs of buying a new vehicle. All right, so then the next thing that we want to look at is depreciation. And this is on page 32 of your IL booklet. So depreciation is, when we're talking about cars, refers to the rate at which your car loses its value from the first year you bought it. So in fact, the cost of your new car drops as soon as you drive it off the dealership lot. So as soon as you become the owner, your car does not have as much value as before it was owned. And this is a messed up element of capitalism, but it's not something that we've figured out how to, the costs are just so inflated in terms of the image of a new vehicle. Anyway, so here is a graph that shows you the average vehicle in Canada over 5 years of depreciation. Depreciation rates are individual, depending on the type of vehicle, the make, the model, the year. So there's not just one rate that all vehicles depreciate the same amount. It changes depending on the type of vehicle. So this just gives us an average look. So in year 0, your vehicle is 100% value. So it is fully the value 100%. But after year 1, after you've had the vehicle for 1 year, you've already lost 34% of that value. Now your vehicle is only worth 66% of what it originally was worth. After 2 years, now it's worth 57%. You've lost 43% of that value. After 3 years, it's 49%. After 4 years, it's 41%. And after 5 years, it's 33%. So buying a vehicle and owning it for 5 years means that now, after you've had it for 5 years, your vehicle is only worth a third of what it originally was worth. So that's pretty significant drop in value, which is a reason why a lot of folks choose not to buy a brand new vehicle, but instead buy a used vehicle, because then when you're not losing as much, because you aren't going to be paying that 100% value at the beginning to then just lose it immediately. So just something to be paying attention to is that this isn't anything that any of us does. It's not about the quality of your driving. It's not about the number of accidents or anything, like state of the vehicle. It is just the depreciation rate of the vehicle based on the arbitrary numbers that the vehicle industry gives us. I don't really know where the depreciation rates come from, how things lose value as quickly as other things. I don't know. It's a weird thing in our world. Okay, so then how do we actually calculate this? So looking at this example, determine the value of a car sold new at $43,950 that has a depreciation rate of 49% after 4 years. So how we calculate this is our new value is equal to our price times one take away 49%. So 49%. So for our price, we put in $43,950 times 1 take away 0.49, right? Because if we take it out of a percent. So that means that our value is now, if we do 1 take away 0.49, we get 0.51. Our value is now 51% of what our original value was. So we do 43,950 times 0.51 equals $22,414.50. So sorry about that. There we go. Now we can actually read it. So after 4 years, this is how much your vehicle is now worth. And that's how you calculate depreciation value. I'm just going to look in terms of our your booklet. I'm just trying to remember if it teaches you a different way. Sorry, just give me a second. Hopefully this will work for me so I can look it up in what year. I just want to make sure that they don't teach you a different way that I'm not teaching you. So here we are. Okay, no, they're just teaching you so there is a way to do it if you know your depreciation rate for every individual year. But here in our questions, in your support questions, they're just telling you it depreciates 20% in 1 year, 35% in 2 years, 55% in 4 years. So you're just calculating it over the whole time. So you just do it like we've done, where you find that how much you've taken off the depreciation amount, and then you subtract that from the original amount. Or you can do it like I did it, where you figure out, you subtract your depreciation rate off of 1, and then you figure out what the value is that's left. Either way is totally fine. Sorry about that. It's just, it teaches slightly different course. So I wanted to make sure I was doing it right for this course. Okay, so now you can do the support questions on page 33 of your IEL booklet, question number 4, which we just saw. Now let's look at used cars. So this is on page 33 of your booklet. So why might you buy a used car? Why might it be right for you? So like we just saw, new cars depreciate. They lose a lot of value really quickly. So this is something that might not be worthwhile for you. You can worry less about minimum damage because you're not going to be, there's not as much value in the vehicle. You can spend the same amount of money and get more cars. So something that if you have $40,000, that's only going to get you a certain kind of car if you're buying a new vehicle. But if you have $40,000 and you're buying a used vehicle, that can get you something, what you might say is more car, because it's more money in that comparatively. There's a certified pre-owned option, which means that you get a peace of mind of what's happened to the vehicle before you own it. There's access to vehicle history reports. So again, you can see any accidents or any ownership before so that you have that information. This is all available and set up, really easy to access. You often pay less in insurance. So not only is your initial cost going to be less, but also your monthly insurance costs are going to be less. And then the registration fees are less, or they're cut down as well, because all of those initial fees that we added on to when you were buying a new vehicle, you now don't have to pay because they've already been paid when whoever bought the vehicle to begin with. There are still some extra costs when you're buying a used vehicle. So you might have to, most likely you're going to have to pay for a safety standards certificate. So making sure that the vehicle is safe, because it is a used vehicle, it's an older vehicle, and we want to make sure that it is still a safe vehicle to have on the road. You also need to get a drive clean emissions test. So this is often called e-tested. And this is because if you are buying a really, really old vehicle, then you might have a really high emission rate. And this is something that we are working towards not having. So we want our newer vehicles are better for our environment. And so buying a really old vehicle is not a great option for our environment. So it needs to pass a drive clean emissions test to show that it isn't producing a lot of emissions into our environment. You can choose to have an extended warranty, and this is a personal decision. It's not something that you have to have. A safety and an e-test you do have to have. Then if you were buying it at a used car lot, you do still have to pay HST. If it is on a private sales, then it's just 8% PST. You don't have to pay GST, so you don't pay the full HST amount if it's a private sale. You still need to pay the licensing fee and the fuel fee, though they're not taxed. That's not something that changes. All right, so let's look at some examples. So Kai is going to buy a used vehicle from an auto dealer. The price, including certification and e-testing, is $39,950. The license fee is $40 and the fuel fee is $65. He takes the extended warranty for $1,000 plus HST. What is the total purchase price? So again, this time we don't have all of our numbers listed, but we can still make a list of the numbers. So we have the price of the vehicle, including our testing. So $39,950. And the extended warranty, which is $1,000. And HST, right? Those things both have HST on them. But our licensing fee and our fuel fee don't have HST. So here we can add those up and times them by HST. So this is a really bad way of writing it, so I'm not going to write it like that. Okay, so we add those up. We get 40,950. So then with HST, remember we could also do it times 1.13, and then that includes our purchase price, so we don't have to add it on as well afterwards. So that means the total, it's $46,273.50. And then the total, so it's that amount that includes our HST and the things our HST is on, plus our $40 licensing fee, plus our $65 fuel fee. So that's $105 that we're adding there. So we have $46,378.50 is how much Kai would be paying to purchase this used vehicle from a auto dealership. So you don't necessarily pay a lot less. It really depends on the car and the options that you have. So Junie buys a used car privately. So remember here, it says plus HST, but really we need to think about PST on just on the price of the vehicle, right? So because when you're buying a car privately, you only pay PST, you don't pay HST. So that means, so the price of the car is $11,000. I don't know why I keep wanting to put decimal points. $11,141 plus PST. And then the certification, the safety is $95. And that one's plus HST. And the e-test is $37.50, and that's plus HST. So then what is the total purchase price? So this one, so the $11,141, you're gonna do times 0.08. The 95, you're gonna do times 0.13. And the $37.50, you're gonna times 0.13. And then you're gonna add them up all together. So we do that. Well, $11,141 times 0.08. Now that's $891.28. You're not paying that to the person when you're buying it privately. That's getting paid to the government. So there are forms and certain things you need to fill out in order for that to happen properly. So just pay attention to that. Then for the certification, $95 times 0.13 for the HST there. So that's $12.35. And then for the emissions test, $37.50 times 0.13 is $4.88. So you're going to add those up for your tax plus these for the original amounts that you actually need to pay, because you don't just pay the tax. So we're going to add all of those up together. So we have $11,141 plus $891.28. Say it wrong, but I put it right in the calculator, so that's good at least. $95 plus $12.35 plus $37.50 plus $4.88 equals a total. So a total is equal to $12,182.01 is how much Junie would pay for buying this vehicle privately. So it is significantly cheaper, but that is because our original amount, the car price, is significantly cheaper. We don't know about how old the car is, how many kilometers are on it. We don't know. So you can't just compare these just in terms of price. There are so many other variables that are involved that you need to be paying attention to. So don't just think about the fact that it's a cheaper price, so therefore it's a better deal. You need to look in terms of the situation for yourself, in terms of what makes the most sense for you and your household. All right, so now you can do the support questions on page 35, questions 5 and 6, looking at the purchase price of a used vehicle. And that is all that we are covering today. So that is lesson 14. So our new and used vehicles are we looked at today. So with a new car, you might choose to buy it because you get exactly what you want, but it is expensive. So you have more options, you have more control, but you therefore pay for that. There are extra costs like delivery and administration fees, and it depreciates as soon as it's off the lot. So you're losing value as soon as you buy it. So remember depreciation, we figured that out. That's the rate of the new vehicle that loses its value. And so to figure out the new value, you need to take off the depreciation. It's usually about 50% by 4 years of ownership, but it varies depending on the vehicle. Used cars can be cheaper because it's already lost that value. So you're not paying for that depreciation that's going to be lost, but it may require more repairs. So that's something that, again, you decide for yourself. There are extra costs like safety and e-testing, so something to consider. There's not a right answer. It is not better to have a new car or a used car. You figure out what makes the most sense for you in your situation, based on your finances, based on your need for a vehicle, based on your life. That's something that you have to figure out. So there's not one right answer. There's not one best thing to do. It's really situational. It really depends on your own needs and your own financial situation. So hopefully you're feeling comfortable with the success criteria today, that you can list and calculate the costs associated with both new and used vehicles. And then you can calculate how much a new vehicle depreciates. So if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out and connect with me. I'm always here to support you. This is what my job is. So you can give me a call at the office at 807-737-1488, extension 2209, or you can call toll free at 1-800-667-3703. Email me at bronwyn.slate, and that's spelled BRONWYN.SLATE@nnec.on.ca. Connect with me through Facebook, where my name is B Slate Wahsa, and also on YouTube. All of this lesson and all of my other lessons are up there at B Slate Wahsa as well. Remember, we have a playlist called MEL3E, so you can find all of our stuff there really, really easily. My office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., though I teach from 9 until 11, so that is not a great time to try to get a hold of me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a lovely day, and miigwech.